What's going on, you guys? Today I'm going to be teaching you note for note the legendary song Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. This is probably going to be a longer video than usual, but I think it's definitely a song worth learning, and to make it even more convenient for you, I've placed along the YouTube bar some timestamps so that you can skip forward to the section that you wish to focus on with ease. Also, this video will be focusing on all of Slash's guitar parts other than the main solo. I will be teaching the main solo in a video that will be coming out next week, which you can check out up here if it is out yet. If it is not out yet, make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified when it does come out. Without any further ado, let's get into it. You are watching Logan's Lessons. First, you need to have your guitar tuned to E-flat tuning, which is a half step below standard tuning, the tuning you're most likely in currently. So starting from the string closest to your face, we have a D sharp, then our A string will now be a G sharp, then our D string is now a C sharp, our G string an F sharp, our B string an A sharp, and our high E string a D sharp. Okay, now that your guitar is tuned up properly, let's get that main riff. We are starting with our index finger on the 12th fret of our D string. You play that downwards. Then with your ring finger on the 15th fret of your B string, you pick upwards. Then what you do is you hit the 14th fret of your G string with your middle finger, followed by your 12th fret of that same string. Both of those are picked downwards. So far. Then what you do is you hit the 15th fret of your high E string upwards, the 14th fret of your G string downwards, and then the 14th fret of your high E upwards, and finally you hit the 14th fret of your G string again downwards. So that whole first phrase is like this. That repeats itself, so you do it twice. Do that with me slowly. One more time. Faster now. Full speed. One more time at full speed. After that, all we have to do is change the first note. To start the second phrase, instead of playing the 12th fret of our D string, we play the 14th fret with our middle finger, like this. So in context, and that's the first half of the main riff. The third phrase starts out with the 12th fret of our G string. So we're starting here. So you do that one twice as well. And then you're back to the first phrase where you're starting on the 12th fret of your D string. If I play the entire main riff for you, do that with me. Faster now. loops back upon itself on the 12th fret of our D string. So just to make sure we're clear on this, we start on the 12th fret of our D string. You progress on to the 14th fret of your D string, then the 12th fret of our G, and then the 12th fret again of our D. That starts back over on the 12th fret of our D string. I'll play through the main riff twice to demonstrate. So it plays through that main riff twice normally, just like what we just did. But the third time you play through it, it changes at the end. So in replacement of that last phrase, which starts on the 12th fret of your D string, this one, we play this lick instead. You are starting with your index finger on the 12th fret of your high E string, and your middle finger on the 14th fret of your G. Those two fingers will remain planted here for the duration of this lick. You first play the high E string picked upwards, then down on the G. After that, you place your ring finger on the 15th fret of your B string, and you play upwards on the B, then downwards on the G. So far. Then you play the high E to G again, just like the first time. So far. Next, what you do is you place your ring finger on the 14th fret of your high E string. Alternate back and forth between that in the same way, from the high E string down onto the G. Then, right there, you slide your ring finger up another fret to the 15th fret, and you do the same thing. Back down to the 14th fret, and then the 12th fret again. And finally, the 15th fret of your B string. But for this one last note, we do not go back to the G string, just hit the B string upwards. So, allow me to demonstrate slowly the ending here. Do that with me. A little faster now. Faster again. Full speed. Full speed one more time. Now I'm going to play the whole intro to the song. Just listen for a second. Very good. That is the intro. Now I'm focusing on Slash's guitar parts for this song, so for the sake of time management, I'm assuming that you are playing with another guitar player who will cover the rhythm guitar parts. So that being said, let's skip forward to the part right before the first solo. You will start with your index finger on the 11th fret of your D string. You play that down once, then what you do is you bar your ring finger across the 14th fret of your D, G, and B strings. You're going to pick up on your B, up on your G, and then down on your D. So far. what you do here is you put your pinky on the 15th fret of your B string, and you alternate between that string and the G string. Once with your pinky down, and then once with it off. So if I do that in context, do that with me. Faster now. And full speed. Moving on, our second shape starts with our index finger on the 10th fret of our D string. And similarly to the intro, we then play our ring finger on the 13th fret of our B. The 12th fret of our G with our middle, and then the 10th fret of our G with our index finger. Here's where the shape changes from what you're accustomed to though. You then play the 12th fret of your high E string with your ring finger to the 12th fret of your G string with your middle. Finally, you have the 10th fret of your high E string with your index finger to the 12th fret of your G string. If I play that second phrase slowly, you have this. Do that with me. Faster. Full speed. Including the first phrase. Now including the first phrase. Do that with me. Very good. Right after that, we go back to the very first phrase of the intro to this song, and we play that one twice. Okay, so starting from the beginning of this piece of the song. So you play almost that entire phrase a second time, but you forgo the last phrase, the one that was the beginning of the intro, and instead you just play the 15th fret of your B string. The second phrase will sound like this. So the whole thing will sound like this. Do that with me. Sweet, so that leads us into the first solo. You start with your ring finger on the 14th fret of your G string. You play that note, then you play the 12th fret of the same string with your index finger, then down to the 11th fret. I just slide my finger down one note. So you do that twice in a row. And then you do it two more times, but instead of playing the 11th fret of your G string, you instead go to the 14th fret of your D. Let me demonstrate. Do that with me. So right after that, you just play the 14th fret to the 12th fret of your G string. You let it hang on that note. So if I play what we have so far for this solo, you have. And that brings us into the home stretch of this solo. You bend the 14th fret of your G string up a full step, back down, and then you pull off to the 12th fret. Right here we bend the 14th fret back up a full step, this time using your middle finger and not letting it slide downwards. And then you hit the 15th fret of our B string with our third finger. Okay, so far. Do that with me. And right when you hit that 15th fret of your B string, we silence the G string, and that 15th fret is also staccato. Because right there what we do is we hit that 15th fret of our B string again, and we bend it up a full step this time and back down. And we have literally just one last note. You're going to bend the 14th fret of your D string up a full step using your middle finger. So in context, do that with me. Leading up to the second solo is identical to the first, but then the second solo is similar to the first one, but it's longer and has some deviations. You start out the same. And the first difference you will notice is that it plays the 14-12 to stay on 12 twice. Then what you do is you bend up and back down a half step on the 11th fret of your G string, and immediately you hit the 12th fret of your D string. And then back up to the 11th fret, which you bend up a half step. You hang there for a second, then use your pinky finger to hit the 15th fret of your B. And you're still holding that bend on your G string, you just pick the G string again, and you let the note slide back down to a neutral position. So if I play what we have so far, so then what you do is you play that 14th to 12th to 11th twice again. But that's where the similarities end for this half of the solo. Right there you bend up the 14th fret of your G string. Then you apply your pinky on the 15th fret of your B. Next you reposition your hand so that your third finger is on that 15th fret of your B string. You pick it again. Then down to the 13th fret of your B string with your index finger. So, and right here we slide from the 15th to the 17th fret of our B string. And right here we play the 17th fret 2 more times. Then slide it down to the 15th fret. Play that 15th fret again, and then the 13th. So, you then pick the 13th fret once again, and this time you slide it down to the 12th fret. And right here we bar across the 12th fret of our D, G, and B strings. You then pick the G string and then the D string. So that part will be. So the second half of the solo so far will sound like this. And do you remember the ending of the first solo? Just exclude that last note, the 14th fret of your D string, and replace it instead with the bend up on the 17th fret of your B, followed by the 17th fret of your high E, like so. So the entire second solo will sound like this. right after that second solo, we have a few chords that lead us up into the main solo. So for the first chord, we are going to be placing our first finger on the 5th fret of our low E string, our third finger on the 7th fret of your A string, and your pinky right below that on the 7th fret of your D string. Okay, so that's the first chord. So then you're going to take this exact same shape, move it down a string, and back 2 frets. So that your first finger is on the 3rd fret of your A string, your third finger is on the 5th fret of your D, and your pinky is on the 5th fret of your G. And then you're going to slide this up 2 frets. So you have... Okay, so now for the strumming pattern. For the first chord, we do a down strum, then 2 up strums, like this. Same thing for the second chord. Then for the third chord, we palm mute and do a down, 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 like that. So down, up, down, 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 down. That repeats like 4 times, and then you're into the main solo. If you want to check that video out, you can do so up here. But that's how you play Sweet Child of Mine. If you have a song request, I can't think of a rhyme, but like you can leave it down in the comments below. If you wish to be notified of future videos, hit the bell. I sincerely hope that you are well. Please do me a favor and hit that like button blue. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe too. I hope this video has been a blessing. You've been watching Logan's Lessons.